Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I am pleased to present you the results of our research conducted by me, Svitlana, and my colleague, Justyna Tomczak-Boczko, on the topic A Corpus-Assisted Discourse Study of President Volodymyr Zelensky's Wartime Addresses. This study presents the findings of a corpus-based comparative analysis of lexical characteristics of the political address delivered in a video format by President Volodymyr Zelenskyy since the start of the Russian invasion on the territory of Ukraine. I will begin with the outline why the president's addresses are so unique, then we'll introduce our data and methodology, move on to our quantitative findings, and finally conclude with the obtained quantitative results. So let's start with the question, why Zelenskyy addresses are so unique and so important. The fight is here. I need ammunition, not a right. Zelenskyy answered for an offered invocation from Ukraine at the beginning of the war. This phrase has gone viral, and overnight he became a hero on a global scale. He's been compared to a mythical David, Churchill, or the archetype of the classical hero. The results of the polls held by the Rosenkopf Center, which you can see in the following slide, show the importance of Zelenskyy on the national scale. As you can see on the slide, a year after the Russian attack, almost 85% of Ukrainians trust their president. Another indication of the importance of their presidents to Ukrainians is the popularity of his official pages on social media, which are regularly updated. The number of subscribers and followers demonstrate the high interest of the Ukrainian citizens in the president's post there. So now let's move to the description and schema of his video. So we use the president's addresses to Ukrainians as our data. From the beginning of his term, Zelenskyy relied on direct communication with the public, also using social media channels and accounts. Since the outburst of the war, Zelenskyy has been addressing the nation in a video format daily. So up to the present moment, he contacts the citizens in the same way. So in our research, we analyzed a specific genre of political discourse, political address, that is a formal speech delivered by a president to the nation as a whole, which solves the problem of the communication of the leader and introduces his government's vision, policies, and plans to the public. As a trained actor, the president is also aware of his nonverbal communication. For example, we may find his hands are often close to his chest. His voice is clear and straightforward. The picture is completed by puffy eyes, a tight face, and a one-day stubble, which confirms that he works hard and has no plans to abandon his compatriots. Now let's move to the description of our data. So, we created two corpora from scratch, both consisting of President Zelenskyy addresses to the nation. The first one includes addresses released in the very first months of the war, and the second corpus is based on addresses released in the corresponding period year later. The software which we used is the Lunchbox from Lancaster University. Now I would like to introduce you our research questions. The first question is to compare the lexical features present in Volodymyr Zelensky's speeches delivered in the first months of the Russian invasion with the ones delivered in the same month next year. So to achieve this, we use the following tools of Lunchbox. The first one is frequency list, then keyword analysis, quick or concordances tool, and the graph call to study the collocates of the note war. And it's quantitative part of our research. Now let's move to the qualitative part of our research, and it includes the identification of common themes that are present in the corpora. It also reveals the main lexical choices to approach each of them. And it is the answer to our second question, which is which themes are similar and which differ across the defined periods. And to answer the question, We answered the question with the help of identification of thematic groups and lexical choices. So the first stage is to analyze the keywords. So the keyword technique serves to compare the lexical characteristics of the corpora. As a result, positive keywords, negative keywords, positive, negative, yes, and lockwords are identified. The positive keywords indicate the lexical choices that are more prevalent in Corpus 22. On the other hand, the negative keywords reveal the linguistic preferences of Corpus 23 when contrasted with the previous one. Lastly, the lockwords represent words that appear with similar frequencies in both corpora. The tabulated data revealed that the president's addresses delivered in February-March 2022 primarily focus on the defense strategy of the invaded country. Consequently, lemma invaders has the highest frequency, while corridors combined with humanitarian demonstrated the depths of the crisis within the country. Notably, lemmas Melitopol and Mariupol are also highly salient, while they do not appear in Corpus 2023. It is explained by the fact that these two cities were the first ones occupied and battled for during the first months of the war. Contrary, lemma Bakhmut ranks top in the 2023 corpus as the situation in that area was disastrous. The keyword analysis of the 2022 corpus also includes lemmas posthumously, lieutenant, as part of the president's awareness of the individual warriors who died in the war. While lemma invader occupies the top position in the 2022 corpus, it ranks fourth, but is translated as occupier among the keywords in the 2023 corpus and immediately follows by lemma warriors, thus showing the interrelated process of the defense strategy. Lemmas thank, disgust, fellow, justice introduce a different theme during the second year of the war and is more detailed analysis we present further in our presentation. Now we will move to the section which describes categories and lexical choices in the Corpus 2022 based on keyword analysis. Analyzing the first 200 keywords, we group them into 4 categories, which demonstrate some patterns. So the categories are death, humanitarian crisis, places, and others. Category death, it is represented with the numerous keywords referred to death. Several military ranks rate to the concrete people awarded by a president. So, for example, lieutenant, colonel, serviceman, as well as mayor. So, category humanitarian crisis is the most numerous category and refers to the situation of civilians in the attacked country. Zelenskyy talks about humanitarian crisis, the necessity of corridors to save residents, civilians, citizens, children. The most important task was to evacuate them, hence the high frequency of the words rescue, survive, evacuation, aid, shelters. Their necessities included home, water, medicine, hospital, fuel, and schools. Actions of the Russian army describe keywords such as bombing, bombed, attacked, rocket, blockade, besieged, attacking, destroy, capture, terrorism. Category places include cities names like Mariupol, Melitopol, Berdyansk, Poltava, and others, the main cities of the warfare. Category others include other features, characteristics in the first months of the war. So we are interested to have a closer look into the category others. So after analyzing it, we found some words which aroused our interest. So they include the following words: stop immediately, and believe allegedly. So the verb stop occurs 73 times in Corpus 22, but only 6 times in Corpus 23. The word immediately is shown 19 times in Corpus 22, but none of these in Corpus 23. So the next word, which is believe, it has 39 hits with a relative frequency of 6.41, while in the Corpus 2023 there are only 3 hits. The collocation of I believe occurs 15 times, and President Zelensky uses I believe that our, we can, I believe, and I know. The phrases encourage his citizens, such also we may find believe it, I believe. He supports persistence, repeating we believe 4 times. A high frequency of the term allegedly in Corpus 22 in comparison to Corpus 23, none of them, is due to the accusation of Russian propaganda, as President Zelensky addressed to the Russians. I know that many of you believed that Ukrainian allegedly hates you, will allegedly attack you. So he also refuses some accusations that Ukraine were developing biological weapons and preparing a chemical attack. Now let's move to categories and lexical choices in Corpus 23, comparing to Corpus 22. So, category 1. The first one is the most numerous, and we can find there are 37 words. We can find a lot of numerous military terms, as well as terms relating to the Russian army. Moreover, there are some synonyms related to the Ukrainian soldiers, for example, warriors, fighters. The next category is values. On the one hand, there are several referring to justice that the president claims for Ukraine, such as justice, legal, court, punishment, and others, but the adjective historic here is mostly often referring to the issue of punishing Russia. So the historic sentence to the organizers and perpetrators of Russian aggression. Zelensky calls historic the decision of the International Criminal Court of warrant of arrest for Putin. Others highlight the special qualities of the Ukrainians, such as bravery, resilience, honor, respect, and willingness. So the next category is the category international cooperation. It is the third category, and it includes expressions relating to cooperation with other countries essential at this stage of the war. President Zelensky talks about efforts to help his country. For example, the words helps, thank, discussed, cooperation, meeting, and others. Also, he includes actors participating in such efforts, such as Latvia, Global, International, Estonia, Denmark, and others. So, and now the final category, which is others, includes some lemmas as fellow guys, separate results, and some others which cannot be categorized, but they are interesting to analyze. And we again had a closer look at the analysis of this others category, and we found that the following words or lemmas, such as fellow guys and results and success, are the top of our interest. So, lemma fellow guys are remarkable colloquial expressions used by the president. The first one is always addressed to his citizens in the same welcome formula. Good health to you, fellow Ukrainians. And we may find that it is found 18 times or has 18 hits in Corpus 23, while we cannot find none of them in Corpus 22. So the same is with guys. In Corpus 23, there are 22 hits, but in Corpus 22, there are only 7. So the reason for this difference is that the president first addresses himself to the soldiers, whom he thanks, as in the following example. Thank you, guys, yes, but in Corpus 22, he doesn't address them directly, but he describes them, yes, he spoke about them and not and didn't speak to them. So the expressions are guys on the ground, cheerful guys, the guys work, our guys. So as I have mentioned before, another keyword absent in Corpus 22 is results. So, and in Corpus 23, it has 16 heads and is found in 19 out of 37 texts. Zelenskyy talks about good results, great results, new results, concrete and sensitive results, for which he thanks soldiers. In Corpus 22, we do not find any example of this lemma. Likewise, concordances with the word success, 10 hits with 3.53 relative frequency in Corpus 2023, and 3 hits with 0.142 relative frequency in Corpus 2022, show that success of Ukraine in the battle is the strategic goal. This success may be achieved by our defense operations, our diplomats, the soldiers. 1 year before, the president uses the word success only 3 times, yes, with much less frequency. So now we would like to demonstrate you the visualization of collocates of lemma war in Corpus 2022 and in Corpus 2023. So we utilized the graph-call tool to study the collocations of the Lexeme War and provide an explanation of the main themes available in the target corpora. Analysis of collocates identifies the meaning they are put in. The results are given to you here. So now let's move to the collocates of the Note War in the February-March corpus of 2022 and 23. The span of the Note War is 5 words to the left and 5 words to the right. The statistic used is 0-1 frequency. In Corpus 2022, the frequency of the Note War is 313 hits, and it collocates with 113 words. But in Corpus 2023, the relative frequency is 72, and it collocates with the 27 words. So left-hand collocates include this after be the world, and this in for Russia full scale for Corpus 23, and right-hand collocates include and V for in against for the Corpus 22, and for the Corpus 23, they include and V all against our. So highlighted yellow, you may find there items which are similar in both studied period. So now let's move to dissimilarities. The frequency of the combination of the Note War plus collocate. As our research aims to compare the lexical items used in Volodymyr Zelenskyy addresses delivered in wartime, we wonder how the Note War collocates with the words Ukraine, Ukrainian, Russia, Russian, and Putin. So war plus Ukraine shows a higher number of hits and higher relative frequency, while Ukrainian plus war is found only in 12 times with 1.97 relative frequency in the 2022 corpus. In the 2023 corpus, it does not show any result. Russian plus war is quite frequent in the 2022 corpus, 14 and 15 hits, with the relative frequency 2.47 and 2.3, but in the 23 corpus, the relative frequency is much higher, 89 and 3.18. We also considered the word and, yes, which is found in Corpus 2022, but no hit in Corpus 2023. So, and the lemma Putin does not collocate the note war in both corpora. So the synthesis of their keyword analysis and collocated data of the note war revealed common themes that were emphasized in the target corpora. Since many narratives intervene, the division of linguistic data into distinct thematic groups is not straightforward. The tabulated data reveal both points of convergence and divergence in the word discourses of the contrasted corpora. Despite both corpora having similar discourse processes regarding the ongoing military invasion, differences are observed in several aspects. While in the 2022 corpus, as well as in the 2023 corpus, the themes of national unity, country defense, and country invasion are similar ones, still they include different keywords to approach these topics. A constitutive difference is observed through the shift from emphasizing country defense and military aid to introducing the issues associated with peace concepts and the importance of international support to resolve the conflict. So the topics which are divergent are the following. For the themes of 2022, they are defenders and military aid. And for the 2023 corpus, it is peace concepts and international aid. So now let's move to the conclusion. The study presents the findings of a corpus-based comparative analysis of lexical characteristics of the political address delivered in a video format by President Volodymyr Zelenskyy since the start of the Russian full-scale invasion into the territory of Ukraine. We use a combination of quantitative and tools such as frequency words analysis, keyword analysis, concordance analysis, and collocation analysis were applied, and qualitative measures such as political discourse analysis for the identification of common themes across language corpora. These measures guarantee that the words selected for the identification of corresponding themes are frequently used in a chosen number of texts. Both similarities and differences were detected in the coverage of lexical features of the address within the target corpora, highlighting general trends in political discourse. Our further work includes to find deeper insights into the linguistic features of political address across different war periods, and it would be valuable to analyze corpora comprising each war year separately with a larger amount of data. Furthermore, applications of corpus linguistic tools for conducting a comparative study of war-related themes and analysis of legitimation strategies the president employs would be also highly informative. So, and the final slide shows the main sources we used for our research. Thank you for your attention. That's it from our side.